Good.
Okay. Welcome to today's CIC meeting. We'll call the meeting to order and start with our approval of minutes from September 11th. Have a motion? Steve? Janet? Me? All in favor? Thank you. Okay. I am going to turn our terminal expansion project updates right over to the team. And I guess we'll start with our project status and schedule.
Yep. So with the terminal expansion, as you can see, Steve's been, stay on the first one for a minute, Steve. Go back one. You can see Steve's been busy, and so is MLB. The top picture shows the formwork around the columns. They were forming those up. They have to encase the columns in concrete. The bottom left shows the columns that were previously poured encased in concrete. That's underneath to hold up the second level. And then on the right hand side, you see the workers there. They're forming up the escalator pit and terminal side. That Steve got real busy. He got up on the second level. As you can see, the top picture shows the decking down. We call them pans. And the shear studs are those little things look like nails sticking out. Those are all down. They're welded to all the girders. And then on the bottom level, bottom picture, you see with the rebar installed, and that's ready to be poured. We're expecting the first section of that to be poured next Monday, weather permitting.
Monday when the board meeting's here?
Correct. Okay. Weather permitting, it's looking rainy and cold, so we may have to delay it a little bit. Just because it's a slab, you have to be able to finish a slab. With that weather, it'd be tough. So this is the escalator install. We've had several meetings. That's bid package 1, which is Kone is the contractor. We had a meeting with Kone and MLB to look at this install. That on the left-hand side is the escalator pit. And then on the right is from the rendering showing what it's going to look like when they're in. We've coordinated between Kone and MLB to get, once that slab that they're going to pour on Monday, Tuesday, depending on when it's done. Once that's cured, it takes about 14 days to cure. Then Kone will come in and put the trusses in for that because they have to get the trusses in before MLB does a lot of other work underneath because it'll lock them out of their work area. So they'll put the trusses in that hold those things, and then once that's done, they can shrink down their work area. Kone can shrink down their work area and start putting in the equipment, the drive chains, the stairs, and all that, make it start coming together. So they'll start working on that. So this is and then Steve got real busy and got up on the roof of the garage and the roof of the building. That's the decking pans for the roof system. The top shot is looking out from the garage, looking toward the other way, from the top of the building, looking toward the garage. And then the one below is looking from the garage out. You can see the wing going up. You can see that at the far end of the picture. You see that wing kind of going up. What's going to happen with that is MLB's roofing subcontractor is, we just blocked out an area on the 5th floor of the north garage, so they're going to bring material and get it there. So they, as you can see, Steve was able to get there. The roofers will be able to get there, bring the material out, and start putting in. They have to, every one of those corrugations you see in that metal needs to be filled with insulation. They put it in, then they put a layer of insulation over the top, and then they put the roofing down. It's a rubber roofing, and they screw it down with these cups, and then they put another layer over top and glue it down. This is a mock-up of the curtain wall, which is going to be the glass in the front and the back side, the east and west side of the new build. This is just a mock-up. It's not quite complete, but Steve managed to get inside and get a good shot of it coming together. Once it's fully complete, we'll all go down and take a look at it and say yay, nay, make our comments and see what we like. And then from there, they can get ready to proceed. Currently, they're planning to start with the curtain wall on the west side, which is favoring toward the hockey rink side. They'll do that first, only because all the access for the contractor to bring materials up on the second and third level is from the east side. Concourse A, you got it.
Concourse A, we are moving forward. We're getting busy. So they completed to the back left of this side, where the lift is. You can see that's where the steel on the first floor was complete. That's where the concrete was poured for the infill. So that's the additional seating area where the concession would be. You can see here, yep, on the left side there. So that has been complete. Now there's HVAC work, sprinkler, and then also the soffit. So that's where the ceiling, like the wood paneling compared to.
That's the swoops and the curves and all the good stuff.
Curves, they'll follow the terrazzo. That's what's being built now. So we got a lot of sheetrocking and soffit work to do right now. Outside, the main apron for the majority has been poured. They're actually pouring today. They are just around a manhole. Right now, they have one manhole pour, and then by the blast water, another manhole. And then you can see the passenger boarding bridge piers have been poured. Then this concrete will be filled in. And then actually, we do have delivery dates now for the new jet bridges, A1 and A2. A1 scheduled for April 29th. A2 is scheduled for a week later, May 6th. And then we'll get right into it.
When is the completion of the A2?
The entire A term right now is still August of 26 is the official. But we should beat that, but that's
By a
what
long shot.
we're still.
We're going to beat that by a long shot, Steve.
Careful, John.
Yes, that's why I'm sticking with the contract date.
We should beat that. Leave it at that.
So, but we'll
There's a
see.
lot, if any board members want to take a walk down, I'm happy to show you around. A lot of progress down there.
We take you out, I'm not sure.
The terrazzo guys are here today looking at, so we'll finally gotta get a set date when we want to start that. Yes, I know you'd like that one.
There you go. So there you go, sir. That's update on both the terminal and the A concourse.
I have a question, I forgot it. Okay. Now the list, the fun list we have.
Always fun. Okay, so let's start with the terminal elevator replacement. Number 11 has shipped, which is the one for C concourse. I'm expecting delivery next week. And then Kone will move in and start setting up to do the replacement on that. Depending on the timing on what MLB does, they may defer that just because I'd rather put all their forces to the new build. They can use the replacement and the terminal elevators as filler work. So I'm not pushing that as hard, but it gives them, so if they have a slow period in the new build, they can jump back over and work on the elevator. So
Which is the number, forgive me, there's a lot of numbers
Yep.
going around. The bigger one, that's,
the bigger one is that we want to build
yeah,
is number 7. That's in the
7.
loading dock. Yeah.
okay.
That one, I'm still working on a design for that.
Okay.
I'm working with an architect on design for that. I'm running into some problems with mechanical, electrical that I might have to move, which is okay because as part of the original design for A concourse, I had Fennick McCready as an alternate design an outside freight elevator. So if one doesn't work, the other will work, and I have enough money in the grant to do it either way. So
So we will get what
we
you
will
need.
get something. Yeah.
It just the plan may change.
Maybe a little different location, but we will have a freight elevator one way or the other. Yes.
If the original plan doesn't work, would the alternate plan be the same size as you were able to?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, a little bit bigger, and the capacity will be a little bit higher. It'll be a true freight elevator. With
Okay,
nothing but
that's my
sweet
question.
potato.
But I know we had, it's still.
Weight issue. Yep.
We had issues with the full.
If I can do it in the spot of where 7 is right now, I do it as 5,000-pound elevator. If I do a traditional freight elevator, it'll be about a 5,800-pound weight, which is a traditional freight elevator.
Okay.
So either way, but one way or the other, we're getting a freight elevator.
Keep us posted.
Yes, ma'am. Air traffic control tower projects. I'm waiting for nicer weather just to do the final balancing. I've been in contact with Colette, who's the mechanical. They're just waiting for the weather to level out because they have to shut the system down for a little while to do the final balancing. And then they're actually have an addition. They're going to put a little heat unit in a fire pump room that we had an issue with this winter. So I've added that on. It's a small, I think it's like a $7,000 ad. It's nothing huge. And then just because we're talking about the air traffic control tower, our airfield maintenance people I'm working with them to get a crane permit. We have to change out the beacon on the top of the tower. It lights, but it doesn't spin. So we have a brand new one sitting in the shop. We're going to early April, we're gonna fly it up there, put it up and get it wired up, and then we'll be back in business. Now my favorite one. 119 and the perimeter road. So there will be an action item in this next board meeting for purchase of wetland credits to do the perimeter road. Rather than having to rebuild 3-to-1 wetland areas where you can buy credits from a credit bank. I'm not going to tell you I understand the whole thing, but Connor had it all set up, and I'm working with CHA to make it happen. So there's a purchase price for the credits. The nice part is I do know last year the credits were about 3 times what they are now. So we waited this year for the discount on the credits, which will be nice to have. As far as schedule wise, we've been meeting with Callahan, who's the prime contractor, DLC, who's their electrical contractor. They plan on starting on May 5th at night to start taking lights out. There's approximately 340 lights to be taken out of the pavement between centerline lights and TDZ lights, which are touchdown zones, as you know, Janet. And they all got to come out before we start milling the pavement. May 27th, we're scheduled to shut that runway down, and we'll have it reopened on June 7th in the morning for business. It'll be milled and paved and striped. The only thing it won't be is grooved. The grooving per FAA spec can't be done until 30 days after the final paving. So we'll have to wait, but that'll be done at night. Won't be an issue as far as commercial traffic or anything like that.
Any questions, Janice? It's nice having a resident pilot. Okay.
You're up.
Jet bridges, as in A1 and A2, same thing. There's A6, B6. We have delivery dates. So A6 will be here April 22nd. And then May 13th will be B6. So if you're keeping track from before, A6 is 422, then A1, 429, A2, 56, then B6, 513. Same contractor will be installing all 4 of them. A6, B6 is with us, and A1, A2 is through AOW. But they are going to jump once they start the first, roughly 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. Next one. All 4 of them. It will get done.
And ready to roll.
Installed. Hopefully, if you do the math, I guess roughly end of May,
Yep.
into June, if it had to. But that's
Should be in May.
so. A6 will be the first one.
Very good.
No, not much update on the rental car facilities. It's kind of been put on hold for a little while. Understandably. So that's that. Moving to the Mauser.
Make a general comment on it because we've been looking really hard. We're looking for new locations. We hit 6,000 employments, which is a record a few times over this last season. So there's a tension between the car rentals want more spots in the garage and we want more spots for our passengers in the garage. So you have, what do they say about countervailing forces or whatever? So we're going slow on those discussions and, but there are those two tensions because they have remote lots,
Right.
which they have to jockey the cars. They want more in the garage and we want more. And it's our decision ultimately, but so I just want you to be aware of those.
Right. Do they, the car rentals have, specific based on their, do they just want more to make it convenient? I don't mean that.
Yeah.
That is-
Yeah.
They want to make
Versus-
themselves and
Yeah,
their
okay.
staff. And, our priorities are different. It's our passengers. So,
Okay,
and it's our facility. So,
to be continued.
yeah.
How about that?
And ongoing. Leave it as ongoing.
Gotcha.
Go to the Mauser lights. I've had some very good conversations with a gentleman from the FAA called, his name is Chris Patrick. They actually had a crew out here last Tuesday doing some final measurements and stuff for the new equipment that we're scheduled to get next year. In the meantime, as part of the runway 119 project, we have an agreement with the FAA, and they're going to fund us to do the threshold bar at the end of the runway and the 200-foot threshold bar, which is at the other side of the back side of the blast pad. So we'll be doing those while the runway is shut down and get those in and get that all built and ready. So, and then in the meantime, we're working on helping them do their layout for their conduit runs when because we have some drainage in the way and that they're gonna have to go under. So we're gonna work with them, and they're talking about directional drilling underneath Albany Shaker Road when it comes into the time. One issue we may have with them is we got to look at the wetlands over there because the current Mauser system sits right on the edge of call it a swamp, but it's a swamp. So, but we'll have to deal with that. So we'll start working on that. That's as soon as I get my wetland credits for my perimeter road. My next jump is I'll jump on that. So we'll be ready for them to come install the Mauser next year.
It would be great to understand, not just out of interest, really the whole wetland credit thing. Like, what exactly does that mean? I'm really not familiar.
I'll be able to tell you that in a little bit because I'm like I said, I'm working with CHA. I kind of picked up when Connor
Okay.
left it, and so I'm working with them. They're
So instead of going buying,
instead of what happens is if you take wetland, depending on what the zone is and what the way that they rate wetlands on a rating scale, you either have to replace. If you take an acre, you replace an acre, or you take an acre, you replace 3 acres, or you take an acre, you replace 5 acres. It all depends on how it's classified.
okay.
That part I can't tell you about. That's environmental people, and they do that stuff. They do. But what we're doing as part of this job is we're just going to buy. There's a bank that the DEC and the Army Corps of Engineers work together to set up a bank of areas within Albany County that are wetlands that you can buy credits for. Last year, the credits were selling pretty high. This year, Connor and I worked together last year, and it wasn't worth it. That again, one of the reasons we were pushing the Runway 119 project to this year was to be able to buy it at a much better rate. So like 3 times, about a third of what they would have been last year. So we're looking at about I forget what the estimate is. Around $108,000, I think, is what we're going to end up paying for the credits, which last year would have been about 350,000. So, but I'm not sure how that one works. But when it's all said and done, I'll know, and I'll be happy to try and explain.
Very
it to you.
interesting. I don't know anything.
I'll be happy to try and explain it to you.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Me too.
Okay.
The transformer project, we are still moving forward. We went to the board previously for the easement. That we're moving the transformer and switch gear from, it's underneath by the loading dock. It's underneath. We're pulling that out in the loading dock area more or whatever. So that it was already approved here. We went to the county. We're waiting on signature. Approved, right? We're just waiting on formality signature for that revised easement. And then an action item to come will be the National Grid portion.
Yeah.
And
They've given us a proposal. Where do you see that?
Yeah, so that will be coming, and then we'll go out to bid. So April, May will probably be bid sometime.
Yeah.
So we're moving forward on that one.
Very good. Okay, I don't know if we have any planning updates.
Not really. NYSERDA, they may have something
I
to say.
can give you the
master plan.
NYSERDA, that will be an action item on the board meeting Monday. We have a revised scope, just basically a timeline, extending the timeline as we've got through the test boards and the information. They have to just revise the design a little bit. So
Okay.
they moved out the deadline a little bit, NYSERDA themselves, so it's just formality.
Formality, action item. Okay, and then the only other one would be the.
Yes, we actually just
wetland.
completed
Okay.
a survey for all of that today.
Oh, perfect. Okay,
So we're moving forward on the project and the designs.
so we only have 2 action items on the project. Okay. Looks like.
We got a bunch more action items.
Okay, well, the biggies.
Yeah.
Anything else that we should know ahead?
Yes, and so for A concourse, there will be a change order coming for 3 work items. For the main terminal, there will be a change order for bid package 4 for some additional items that came about as part of the construction as we went. So just to
Some
give you-
positive, some negative
Okay,
in terms of dollars, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just to give you a heads up
The
on
usual,
that. And then
okay.
we have I'll be bringing a proposal to the board for CNS Engineering they're doing the 7th lane design.
Oh,
And also the additional men's and ladies room on the 2nd floor. We've instead of configuring the ones on the 1st floor, we're gonna add them up on the 2nd floor. John O'Donnell's been spearheading that, and I'm sure you're aware of that, but that's it makes sense to do that. It just makes it more convenient up on the second floor. If you're in line, you can just jump over there. It'd be nice. So that's a proposal I have from CNS. They'll be doing that for their architecture work to do that. Correct. Correct. They have all the plans right now and they're ready to go. As soon as I tell them go, they'll be ready to go on that one. So that we'll have that one. I also will have another one for CNS, who was the design engineers for runway 119 for their construction inspection proposal to get ready to do the runway work. That'll be coming too. And then lastly, I'll have 3 items for the board for the fire suppression system for the fuel farm, which is way overdue. We tried to bid it as a one project. It did not go. Nobody bid it. Nobody wanted to look at it. So I was approached by an alarm system that the alarm company, FS and SU, we have a contract with, and it was part of, it wasn't Hewitt and Young that did the alarm, didn't the install, but these guys did the alarm system. I was approached by them, and they managed to wrangle up. They'll do the alarm work. I have an electrical contractor on board to do the electrical work. I got 2 quotes on that, and there's only one company on the East Coast that would bid to do the because it's specialized chemicals and tanks, and they're a manufacturer and install company, so they give you a turnkey type thing. They'll remove the old stuff, put the new stuff in. Nice part about this system, it's upgradable. So if fuel farm grows, we can add on to it. I like upgradable. It makes it a lot easier than having to cut and replace. So that'll be coming to the board too. For those 3 are separate items for that. Yeah.
Any questions from the board? Anything? Wow, that was quick.
So if I could just give a quick update on communications. Mainly, I just want to show the committee a video that we requested.
Skipped over it.
That's all right.
Your fault.
A lot of it has already been heard, but obviously the concrete pours and deck are going to be coming soon. Of course, you got an update on Matt. Keep evaluating our signage to make sure it's working. We can honestly say we get very little complaints on people navigating through the terminal. It seems to be working.
I do have to say a funny story. I was in the airport picking someone up, and it was one of the big red signs. Like, it was so clear. And there was a woman, I happened to be standing in front of it, and I did behave, but there was a woman complaining, I don't know where I'm going, there's no sign. She was right in front of the So I felt for all of you getting the calls, because great job on the signs to the team. You've done a terrific job. This is a long, ever-changing project, and I always check them out when I come in, but I think people just don't pay attention. So I'm happy to hear you're not getting complaints.
Very good.
Good.
Pointer is still very much a thing. I've been working with Kathy and the team at Pointer. The app clip is live. We just ordered some signage. It should be in hopefully by the end of the week or next week, so we get the signage up. We're going to send the video crew out to do like an educational video, not just for the public, but also for staff to understand, what Pointer is and how it works. The airport map on the website has been updated. We'll have a press conference coming soon. I just want to show you what the airport map looks like real quick. If you remember, it was a yellow, just a PDF on the website. People click on there now, they're going to see a digital map of and you just like the Google Maps on your car, you put in where you want to go, find a destination, it'll actually give you a little blue line to navigate. So it's exciting stuff. We're excited to get that up and running. It's been up. So. In terms of earning social media, got some news coverage on the both projects recently. We continue with consistent messaging on social media. And I just wanted to show you, if I could, just a video, run about 2 minutes, but it shows you, just gives you an up close look at what's going on, both on the terminal expansion project as well as concourse.
Oh, that's good.
So these are the stairs pre-concrete.
That's behind the curtain, Steve. When you drive out a curtain, that's behind the curtain.
Got to give the CEO credit for this video. He was able to capture it during the concrete pour the other day. But that's the concrete floor freshly poured, stairs from the garage. And this is the main level coming from the second floor of the parking garage. Concrete pour coming soon, all the rebars up. The outside. These are the columns that were behind the tarps. Actually, board columns, foundation work near the escalator pit on the terminal side. The escalator. Columns. The art gallery that's coming soon, right outside the, right over here, the old. Reels. They're throwing up sheetrock like crazy in the business center. Display area, lower B. Neurosensory room.
It's nice and bright.
That's what Concourse A is looking like with all that stuff. It's so cool. Those are the escalators going down.
Oh,
I just want to show that to the committee, but I also want to post this on social media today so the public.
fantastic. It's really fantastic. Thank you. And
And
it's
it's
done.
keeping the website's updated.
Good. That's fantastic. Thank you.
I don't have anything else on the
All
agenda.
right.
Yeah.
I do.
Okay. Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
I want to hear about what you can share about the sensory room, the children's play area. Do you have any updates? And I also have a question about the arts, the installations for here, which I'm so happy. And I forgot to tell you, I heard people talking about it, like missing it. When I was
I've been hearing that for something.
Yeah, I overheard, I was here and I overheard people talking about it. So, do you have plans for what's happening? Can you share? I don't mean to put you on the spot.
That's fine. Well, let me just start with the things, the areas that are well underway. The children's play area is well under development in partnership with the Wild Center, and I will have some updated renderings on Monday for you to look at, so you'll have a better sense of how that is working now with the artists and the designers, fabricators who have all been very busy, and timing for that opening is going to look like for later this year. And for the third floor gallery space, I'm very excited about that as well. I've been discussing with John O'Donnell lighting options, and so we are working with a contractor on proper lighting for that area, as well as kind of an art appropriate distinctive flooring. And so trying to purpose build it so that it is distinguished as a space for art, and in a way that I think will really delight visitors. And I'm excited to be bringing that space back to the airport, because I think people in the community really, really value that.
Now, will it have, I know in the past, you've had art openings there with specific art displayed. Will it have a combination? Will we have those experiences as well as some, when you walk throughout the airport, I know you have things commissioned. Will you have both in the space?
I expect that it will function as it used to, where there will be rotating exhibitions,
Right.
probably twice yearly, with public events. It's a wonderful way to bring the community to the airport, to experience the airport for something other than travel, more for networking and for communication, and for just the opportunity to learn and to visit. School groups can come and do observational work and curriculum-based work in the gallery as well. So it'll be a space that
Can be used.
where there's opportunities for community connection, which is terrific. Have I started curating anything yet? No.
Okay, I was just being nosy. The other last question, I know you talked about early in the project when, construction impacts some of the art you have displayed.
Yes.
And so is that a process now, you know, like in Terminal A, returning to museums,
Yeah.
curating new pieces? So
Mhm.
that's all ongoing in line with the project.
It is, and I'm working very closely with Matt and John on the timing for
Mhm.
when those developments are happening in Concourse A, so that we can keep the public immersed in really interesting things to look at and to learn about, and also to keep our community partners like museums and individual artists to keep their presence in that area of the terminal as much as possible, but also to clear the way when it's time for the construction to take place. So yeah, it's been a delicate balance,
Right.
and but we're working very closely.
Last question, forgive me for not knowing this. Do we have permanent art?
We do not. We have some pieces that are on very long-term loan, including the George Rickey and the Dean Snyder Lover, which is the ball with the iron rings on it. Those two pieces are on very long-term loan, but the airport does not have a permanent collection. The art program was never envisioned at the onset to have a permanent collection, and so that is how we've been doing.
So it's all different timing on certain
Yes.
pieces. Okay, no, it's very interesting. As you know, interested. Thank you. Anything else from
Any
you?
questions?
All right, well, with time to spare, take a motion to adjourn. Steve? Janet? All in favor is aye. Thank you, everyone. Great presentation. Really appreciate the update.